Good morning and welcome to the 4Sight Huawei IP Club webinar. My name is Mark Forker. I'm the editor of Computer News Middle East, which is part of CPI Media Group. And it is a great privilege for me to be afforded the opportunity to be the moderator for today's webinar. The wonders of modern technology have enabled us to remain connected during the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, but the crisis has only served to further illustrate our dependency on technology and our need to be connected at all times. There have been issues, but ICT leader Huawei are leading the way in terms of accelerating transformation towards intelligent connectivity. And we're going to hear more about their IP intelligent networks during this session. We'll be briefly hearing from the 4Sight team of Anil Misri, Sales Manager at 4Sight, and Tajinder Pal Singh, Sales Manager at 4Sight, about their channel partnership with Huawei. We'll then have a welcome speech from Diaa Ahmed Bassiouni, Channel Director of Enterprise Business Group at Huawei. Our first presentation of the day will then be conducted by Saurabh Jain, Channel Solutions Director, Enterprise Business Group at Huawei, and his presentation will be on the topic of leading IP intelligent networks. We'll then get a Wi-Fi forecast from Chris Barnard, Vice President of the European Infrastructure and Communications at IDC. We will then proceed to the world's fastest Wi-Fi 6 real-world performance testing demo, which will be conducted by Ruo Lei, Solutions Manager, Enterprise Business Group at Huawei, and his colleague, Saurabh Jain. Then we've got an exciting giveaway of Huawei G2 watches. So some of our lucky attendees will be winning a fabulous watch from Huawei. So that's something to look forward to. And then I'll conclude my webinar with a short wrap-up and thanks. So just a little bit of housekeeping rules. Obviously, we'd like to thank you all for joining us this morning. We all know you've all got busy schedules, so we really appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to join this webinar today. And we believe that you'll come away from it really informed, and it should be a fantastic webinar. So that's enough from me for now. What I'm going to do, I'm going to hand you over to the introduction, opening and welcome speech from the 4Sight team of Anil Misri, Sales Manager at 4Sight, and Tajinder Pal Singh, Sales Manager at 4Sight. Thank you.
Yeah, good morning all of you. First of all, I would like to thank all the customers and presenters to start this beautiful session this morning. I think this is the best way to connect to each other in today's world. Yeah. So just to give you the introduction of myself. Myself is Tajinder. My name is Tajinder. I handle the sales for Abu Dhabi for 4Sight. So just to give you the quick introduction about the 4Sight. Yeah, 4Sight is basically part of the Bin Hamuda group, and we have present across the country. Yeah. So even in Abu Dhabi, Dubai, and across to handle all our customers across the verticals. So we have a dedicated sales, pre-sales and delivery team in Dubai and Abu Dhabi. And today, I can say we are the only web in the country who manage, the Huawei and all technically, commercially dealt directly with the customer and Huawei. Yeah. So, but one more thing would like to add here. We are the sister concern of Alpha. We are the 5-star IP partner of Huawei. Yeah. So we do have a references and customer across all vertical, be it hospitality, telecom, government, and utility. And we have a use cases, across all the technologies Huawei. So since Huawei, we are the dedicated and partner for Huawei, and our team from technical perspective and sales, which is present Dubai and Abu Dhabi, and able to cater all the requirement and opportunities for our customers. So thanks for joining once again. I have my colleague Anil Misri along with me, who managed the business for Dubai for us. Anil, you wanted to add something on it?
I welcome all the participants over here in this webinar. My name is Anil Misri. I manage 4Sight business in Dubai and Northern Emirates. Tajinder is my colleague who is handling Abu Dhabi and Well, he has already briefed about 4Sight, so nothing more to add. Just to give you a brief about what we do in Dubai, we have a huge partner ecosystem within 4Sight, which is basically a part of the Alpha Data Group. So Huawei is one of the leading OEMs that we have aligned ourselves with. We have We have done many successful projects within UAE, wherein we have got a good control over the technology. We have got a lot wider experience on the technologies that Huawei has at our disposal. And to sum it up, like, we have got a huge team of deployment. We have got a huge team for the migration services. We have a huge, I would say, partner ecosystem backing us up as an entity. And as Tajinder mentioned, we have a huge track record of around 40 years now in this part of the world. We have a lot of customers, a lot of customer references who can talk about 4Sight, who can talk about Alpha Data in totality. Again, welcome you all, and I will hand over now to Mr. Diaa to open the webinar. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being with us today in this series of Technology Club events that we organize with our partner. We are organizing this event to reach out to our customer and prospect to update you about our Huawei latest technology innovation across our different product line. Today, our topic is IP Club, where we'd like to share with you our latest innovation in connectivity solutions, spanning from switches, access point, routers, and security. We will also put focus on Wi-Fi 6, our star product, which we think will change the way we connect in campus network and enterprise organization, the same way that 5G technology is changing the mobile world. Before handing over the floor to my colleague, Saurabh Jain, who leads the channel solution team in Huawei UAE office, I would like to give you some updates about Huawei. So, Huawei was established in 1987 in Shenzhen, China, as a telco equipment manufacturer. Today, Huawei is a global player in ICT. We are ranked number 61 on Fortune 500 list. We have more than 194,000 employees, and our revenue in 2019 was $123 billion US, with almost 20% growth year over year. Huawei organization is split into 3 business groups. The Carrier Business Group, which is a leader in providing telco solution to operators worldwide, with clear leadership in 5G space. Consumer Business Group, who is number 2 worldwide supplier of mobile handset. And in April, we had took the lead from either other, and we took this number 1 spot. The Consumer Group has also, as part of its offering, tablets, laptops, watches, and other IoT consumer devices. Last but not least, the Enterprise Business Group, responsible for providing enterprise customers with solutions that help them in their digital transformation journey. Our commitment to innovation is indisputable. We are proud to be a technology company, and we are proud of our innovation in this domain. This commitment can only be demonstrated by our R&D spending. More than 50% of Huawei employees are dedicated to R&D. Huawei is part of multiple international organizations working and building standards to push innovation worldwide. Our core values are about customer-centric, inspiring dedication and perseverance, and growing through reflection and innovation. Digital transformation is a term that we face every day. Every organization, whether on customer side or vendor side, is putting its plan to embrace a change, or it will be left behind. In the next slide, I would like to take you through Huawei digital transformation cornerstones and how it's linked to our solution development, design, and delivery to the market. First cornerstone is modernization and innovation. We bring the latest technology to market to improve our productivity. We will focus today on Huawei innovation in connectivity space, and especially Wi-Fi 6. Then come visualization and automation, service delivery, to ensure smooth and speedy implementation of our solution. Having the latest technologies does not mean that you are leveraging the best out of what you purchased. Then come AI. We are leveraging AI to benefit the maximum of the solution after implementation. Last but not least, we need to make sure that our solution across our portfolio are linked and integrated together to deliver the best end user experience. Thank you for your attention, and without further delay, I hand over the mic to my colleagues to take you through the rest of our agenda today. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Saurabh Jain. I'm Solution Director for the Enterprise BG. Today, I'll be briefly covering you the key drivers for digital transformation and how Huawei innovative and intelligent network technology is complementing this requirement across industry. So essentially, the network is the foundation layer in the enterprise digital transformation across industry. And what we have seen as per Gartner, 85% of the company will cover their digital transformation by 2021. Almost 86% of the enterprises will adopt the AI services by 2025, and 100% of the enterprises will be cloud ready by 2025. Now, for ICT transformation, there are three main challenges across multiple industries, which must be answered by the network solution to fast track the digital transformation. So, is the network capable to serve the business value? So, there has to be a business centricity. Is the network platform guarantees the uptime for business continuity, which means there has to be a SLA assurance? And is the platform agnostic to open and handle the multi-dimensional service requirement, which means the platform has to be agnostic to really expedite this journey? Now, question is why the industry is looking for digital transformation. So essentially, there are three key drivers which are pushing industry to quickly adapt the digital transformation. Open and automatic collaboration. It is to deliver faster, customized, and tailor-made services to the end customer. Digital twin is basically a virtual replica of physical devices that organization can use to run simulation before the actual devices are implemented. Digital twin helps to achieve the predictive maintenance while assuring the SLA and enhanced efficiency. AI and big data reduces the skill dependency and human intervention in order to achieve the always on services. Yeah. So digital world, a game changer. As a part of the ICT transformation, the network has evolved from traditional equipment-centric approach to the user-centric approach. From a closed loop to the open programmable network, from a reactive maintenance to the active maintenance. At the same time, the introduction of intelligence and automation reduces the dependency on a personal skill. The digital world collects the data from the physical infrastructure in the real time and realizes the simulation and prediction of the physical world. It guarantees the user's business experience. So let me introduce you the Huawei intent-driven network. It is a small but significant step towards the autonomous driving network. Huawei intent-driven network solution leverages a simplified ultra-broadband network infrastructure to achieve not only a wider access, but a ubiquitous connectivity for a simpler management. In this way, the network gradually moves from the SDN automation network towards the autonomous driving network. IDN adds the intelligence to the network on the basis of automation and takes a small step towards the autonomous driving. AI, big data, cloud platform, and a digital twin. These are the four key elements for creating this digital world. So there are a couple of benefits of intent-driven network. Like it is the intelligence, the proactive management, full automation, enhanced security, open to integrate, talent agnostic, user and application centric experience. And finally, the ultra broadband fabric to support this digital transformation. So let me take you to the brain side of this IDN infrastructure. We'll explore more about this. In the IDN network structure, iMaster NCE is the brain of IDN. The core of digital world is Network Cloud Engine, which is NCE. NCE is a cloud native platform which provides four major engines to realize this digital twin. And these engines are Intent Engine, Intelligence Engine, Automation Engine, and the Analytics Engine. Huawei IDN provides enterprise with a tailored solution specific to the scenarios such as the campus infrastructure, WAN infrastructure, data center, and the network security. It really helps them to move towards the connected, intelligent world. Huawei AI Turbo series of network devices, which are embedded in the infrastructure, it includes the Air Engine Wi-Fi 6, CloudEngine switches, Network Engine routers, and the high-sec engine security gateways. So let's see the components, which are the different components which can be delivered by the INC master. So it can do the design and pre-planning. It can do the deployment, zero-touch provisioning of underlay, as well as the multi-site environment. It can take care of the admission, which is a user access control. It can monitor the devices and create a dashboard of performance. It can do the maintenance, all the FCAPs, and the necessary upgradations which is required in the operations. And it also has a self-management system controller for an intelligent O&M. Now come to the next analytic part, which is the telemetry-based AI platform. So in Huawei's iMaster NC, the intelligent O&M platform is called Campus Insight. It is the analyzer component of the iMaster NCE. Now NC Campus, which is AI powered, it leverages the big data analytics and machine learning algorithms. This feature-rich system visualizes the experience of each client at each moment, locate the fault, and analyze their root cause in minutes. It also intelligently optimizes the entire network because the network has different snapshots at different time. It does the real-time optimization to make that happen. By and large, what we have witnessed in different deployment scenarios, that it takes care of 85% of the potential issues in the network, both in the wired as well as in wireless infrastructure. And finally, it helps to enable the autonomous driving campus network. Now, let me take you to another very vital component of this complete IDN solution, Huawei flagship Wi-Fi 6 product line. Now, we had been, this is the network layer, which contributes to the ubiquitous connectivity. And as Huawei, we are global leaders in the wireless network technology and keeps innovating to provide the best-in-class services for the enterprises. Huawei launches a full lineup of innovative Air Engine Wi-Fi 6 product that features lightning speed as well as more stable roaming and experiences. This is helping the enterprises to really scale their infrastructure for 100 Mbps everywhere. Powered by the Huawei Air Engine Wi-Fi, digital enterprises build a high-quality wireless network required for new applications such as augmented reality, virtual reality, 4K, 8K videos, and the IoT for the employees, partners, and customers alike, with the ultimate experience and accelerating towards a fully wireless campus era. Huawei is a key contributor to Wi-Fi 6 industry standard, having submitted more than 240 Wi-Fi 6 proposals, which constitute to 15% in totality from the 802.11ax standard, which is anywhere more than any wireless device vendor today. We have a complete range of indoor and outdoor Wi-Fi 6 family, suiting all kind of deployment scenarios. We have also done a pre-integration with the ecosystem partners like iLab, Stanley, Pointers, to make you use. Devices are unique and aesthetically designed. If you see that they are taking more like an engine, the aeroplane engine look, and the heat dissipation which happens is having those fins around the access points. It is the world's first 10G Mbps Wi-Fi device. It supports the dynamic turbo hardware acceleration to achieve the lowest latency in the industry, which is 10 milliseconds. The smart antenna in the Wi-Fi 6 devices also helps to get an extended 20% coverage. And with the optical and IoT convergence, it is the absolutely apt solution for a complete indoor and outdoor coverage. Now let me take you to the switching infrastructure, which is another important point for the infrastructure, IDN infrastructure. So after introducing the Wi-Fi 6, let me take you through the complete suite of switching infrastructure. The key features across the switching infrastructure which Huawei provides is 6 times the switching capacity with respect to the industry. We also have the integrated WLAN access control functionality, which provides 100% convergence on a wired and wireless user. The iMaster NC provides the automatic deployment and intelligent O&M, and these switches are fully programmable based on the open architecture that facilitates a smooth network evolution. Our flagship product 12700 switch adapts a next generation cell switching architecture, which ensures the non-blocking services data forwarding on the core network layer. It also guarantees the service quality in high concurrency, large capacity, and high load environment. The 12700 platform offers a broad range of cards, including the interfaces like 100G, 40G, 25G, 10G, and 1G. And from a platform point of view, it is scalable to 28800 gig port density. It is also scalable to the unmatched the capacity on the WLAN access point, which can register, which is over 10,000 access point on a single platform. The another flagship product which I would like to share a few highlights today in the Wi-Fi 6 era is the 5700 family, which is more like a fixed configuration. In this specifically, we have multi-G switches, which is a fixed configuration, supporting the auto adaptability of interfaces 1 gig, 2.5 gig, 5 gig, 10 gig on a copper interface. It also has a flexible uplink interfaces basis the requirement and scale you want to deploy, supporting a 10 gig, 25 gig, 40 gig, and 100 gig interfaces as a default configuration. It also covers a 200-meter distance when there is a connectivity between the switches and the Wi-Fi 6 access point, which is also unique, and we are leading in the industry from that point of view as well. Let me take you to the another important component in the IDN infrastructure, the NetEngine 6000 series of access routers. These routers, they are high performance, multi-core, and having a non-blocking switching architecture. It helps in delivering the performance to the best forwarding performance in the industry. The AR6000 also integrate with the functionality of SD-WAN, routing, switching, VPN security, as well as the MPLS to diversify the cloud-based services. It is the industry's first router which is supporting the 2G, 3G, 4G, as well as 5G uplink, which can have as good as 2 gig kind of download and almost 250 plus Mbps upload capacity. This particular platform is having a 3 times the capacity from a SD-WAN point of view, which is supporting the 5 inbuilt accelerated engines. This actually gives a leading performance, which is 3 times the industry. Again, the iMaster NC plays a very vital role when it comes to the campus in total integration, because with the iMaster NC, we can achieve the LAN and WAN convergence for a multi-site deployment architecture. Now, let me take you through the different milestones, what we have achieved in the journey, in Huawei. So way back, we started our journey in 1996, where the first router and the first Ethernet switch in 1997. And thereafter, we had been keep adding different milestones in the networking family. In 2001, we introduced the industry's 5th generation core router, NE40 and NE80, on the NP plus SIC architecture. In 2008, we introduced industry's high-end core router, which is NetEngine 5000 in the clustered mode. And this is generally used for the backbone connectivity wherever you see the different consortiums across the globe. These are the clustered mode NetEngine routers which are deployed. In 2012, we introduced the next generation data center switches, the CloudEngine 12800 platform. And thereafter, the next year, we also introduced the experience-centric, agile S12700 platform for the campus. In 2016, we introduced another high-end, the routing platform NE9000, where the backbone capacity per card is up to 4 tera, and it is also certified by the Interop, which held in Tokyo. In 2017, we came up with the first Wi-Fi 6 access point, which was commercially available for a testing. We were leading this industry. No one was there when we launched the Wi-Fi 6 product, and today also we are leading far ahead in the industry from a Wi-Fi 6 point of view. And finally, in 2019, we released the AI chip-based CloudEngine 16800 family, which is a data center switch family, supporting 400 gig interfaces. The another important point when it comes to Huawei is that we are organically developed. The complete platform on which the networking portfolio resides, we call it versatile routing platform. It is a self-developed platform, and we strongly believe in an open standard technology. So there is no lock-in. It is absolutely agnostic, neutral, and follows the standard. It is this platform has been used for over 10 million devices globally, and generally these devices, they are connecting to the national and international backbones. And there is a saying what happens, and what we used to say in Huawei, the 1/3 of the population, global population, they connect and talk via Huawei gears. So that kind of stable and strong platform we had been using over the network portfolio. With respect to the leadership and the participation in the industry, we had been part of the global community for developing the various standards. We are participating in 12 plus standard and open source organizations. We are part of 40 plus working groups, and we are also contributing into the Internet Engineering Task Force, which is IETF, and had been consistent in the increasing contribution for the open and connected world. In the year 2018, we contributed almost 32% of the standards, and you can see that there is a consistency over a year of time. With respect to the Wi-Fi 6 technology, and specifically on the segmented routing, the SRv6, we contributed 15% and 33% the RFCs respectively. So we had been leading and contributing from the open IP standards point of view. When it comes to the interoperability, because we absolutely understand that in the industry, we need to deploy the network gears in a hybrid environment. So we understand that there is a need of interoperability. We have established open labs, JVLs, joint validation labs. We have also done the multiple ecosystem validation. Okay, so globally, with respect to this part, what we have done is we created a multi-OEM environment for the interoperability testing. And this has non-Huawei devices with respect to the routers, switches, the terminal devices, authentication systems, NMS, and the value-added system. So what we do, we keep doing the validations and the interop testing when it comes to these different non-Huawei gears, so that the customer should not face any challenge. And what we have done is, in the joint innovation labs, we have done 100 plus validations, which is a simulation before the actual deployment. With respect to the snapshot what we have in the industry, as you can say, it is a very consistent deployment, and globally we are ranking number 1 from a routing segment point of view, number 2 from a switching segment point of view, and also from a software defined controller, we are holding this number 2 rank globally. We have shown a continuous innovation in our data center switches, WLAN product, and the security product line. And we have witnessed a CAGR of 82%, 65%, and 24% in the respective product domain. So basically, the idea is that we have crafted this intent-driven network, which is suiting to all kind of industry sectors. And this really helped them to really achieve the digital transformation journey across. And before I conclude my session today, I would like to share the experience of MOE project where Huawei has connected 300 plus edX schools for a complete wireless experience and deploying 20,000 plus wireless access points. We have also deployed intelligent platform to support a one-click planning, O&M, and a centralized management. This has also helped the MOE to run efficient and economic operations. So thank you so much for the patience and hearing the understanding about the digital journey and the digital transformation experience. Thank you so much.
Hi, Saurabh. Can you hear me? Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, great presentation, Saurabh. I've got a couple of questions from a few attendees, so if you just like to stay on, we've got a couple of questions. Great presentation. I thought you articulated your points very well. You really went into forensic detail in terms of the science behind the intelligent networks, and I think you really conveyed, you know, how Huawei is continuing to lead the charge. But you also touched on, you know, your history and all the milestones that you've achieved, and it's incredible that Huawei's been able to manage that longevity or that success over that longevity. So great presentation. But I've got a couple of questions. The first one is, does Huawei have outdoor Wi-Fi access points?
Sorry?
Does Huawei have outdoor Wi-Fi access points?
Yeah, we have a complete range of indoor as well as the outdoor Wi-Fi 6 access point. The way we differentiate in the industry is that in the industry, the organization don't have the IoT solutions on the outdoor access points, but we as Huawei, we have a complete range supporting different type of scenarios for indoor as well as outdoor access point along with the IoT.
All right, brilliant. Thanks for that, Saurabh. So I hope that addresses the question presented by the attendee. So the next question is, and the final one is, what is the maximum operating temperature of an outdoor air engine?
Generally, the ambient temperature goes around 65. So they had been crafted with the industry grade component, so they can sustain the 65 degree as ambient temperature. Yeah.
That's brilliant. Look, Saurabh, that's fantastic. And as I say, thanks a million for your presentation. It was a brilliant presentation, and we'll be seeing you later on for the live demo. So for now, thanks. And I'll just now introduce you to Chris Barnard. He's the Vice President of the European Infrastructure and Communications at IDC. And he's going to give us a little bit of a forecast on the Wi-Fi era. So it's fantastic to have Chris. So thanks a million, Chris. I'll hand you over now and continue with your presentation. Thanks very much.
Excellent. Thank you, Mark. Good morning, Chris Barnard, and I am really thankful for 4Sight and Huawei to be with you today. As Mark said, I am with IDC, which, as you may or may not know, is a global technology research company. We were founded in the 1960s, and today we have more than 1,200 analysts across the world, including in the Middle East and Africa. I am based in Amsterdam and responsible for our European enterprise infrastructure and communications research. So it's great to be with you. And today I'd like to review with you a couple of key networking trends and how these relate to Wi-Fi 6. So obviously from an agenda point of view, we're going to look at digital transformation. So Saurabh already covered that in his presentation. I'll provide a little bit of additional context, but we'll also look at the implications of COVID-19. And I hope that you and your loved ones are safe and healthy in this difficult time. We will take a look at network investments, what's driving these investments, and also what these investments mean for the overall state of the market, including the wireless LAN market in the Middle East and Africa. We'll then double click on Wi-Fi 6. Just why do we think it is such an important game changer in the industry? And then we'll wrap up by looking at what do you need to keep in mind when you, as an organization, choose a partner for the future. Now, as you know, digital transformation has been shaping the industry for the last 5+ years. Organizations understand that they need to shift their business from a traditional way of working to a way of working that is digitally centric. In fact, in our annual CEO survey in the region, we saw that 79% of CEOs face significant pressure to deliver a successful digital transformation strategy. And that strategy is built on a couple of things. Now, to us, the world that we're in today is what we call the third platform. In other words, a world shaped by cloud, big data and analytics, social, as well as mobility. And on top of this third platform, we see organizations leveraging digital technologies to build what we call this next generation or digital transformation initiative. It could include things like next generation security. It could include augmented and virtual reality. The Internet of Things is certainly extremely important, but also think of things like cognitive systems, robotics, 3D printing, etc. All in all, organizations are trying to increase their performance. They need to increase their bandwidth, security, the coverage, as well as their connectivity to business partners, not only in the region, but across the globe. And it means that these companies need a digital native network. If you're serious about a digital transformation initiative, organizations also need to be serious about a digital native network. And to us, that network has a couple of characteristics. First of all, it has to be secure. If business is shifting away from the physical to the digital, it has to happen in a secure environment, and the network is fundamental in driving that security. And within that secure network, we need to double down and increase flexibility. Think of the old static networks of 10 years ago. These are obviously no longer adequate for the digital native network. It has to be manageable, and manageable from a central place. Think of cloud-managed initiatives. The network has to be scalable, and the network has to become much more cost-effective. In other words, it doesn't have to be the cheapest out there, but it has to be cost-effective. And in order to drive that, we see organizations and the industry developing new initiatives around things like software-defined networks, network intelligence, automation, NAV, next-generation access, hybrid architectures, as well as cloud connectivity. And we see that Wi-Fi 6 plays very well into these initiatives around the digital native network. So if we look at digital transformation and strategic investment strategy, what you'll see on the screen is the result of an annual survey that IDC does in terms of enterprise communications. And we ask companies, which of the following best describes your organization's ICT investment strategy? And the first thing that jumps out is that only 29% of companies said that they have a very pragmatic investment strategy. In other words, they're basically trying to keep the lights on. Everyone else is either taking a strategic approach to investment. 54% of companies that you'll see in the light blue, they said that they focus on strategic investments to meet business objectives. And 17% of companies said that they actually invest to be transformational. They invest heavily to drive digital. It also means that organizations are looking at different stakeholders in the company. In the past, a lot of the traditional IT investment decisions, and especially networking decisions, were to a large extent up to the head of networking, to the CIO, the head of IT, etc. That's changing as organizations see that line of business managers are becoming much more involved in technology decisions as well. I think most of you will find that there's much more interest in technology decisions from line of business leaders. Think of the head of sales, head of HR, etc., etc. And then we've seen that this process that took place over the last 5 years received a massive jolt from COVID-19. For many organizations, COVID-19 led to the most significant jump forward in terms of digital transformation, because it brought home a couple of key points, including business continuity. How do I take my office-centric workforce and get them to work from home within 24 hours? How do I plan in a world that will most likely be quite constrained in terms of budgets? How do I create tailored solutions that are very adapted to my new situation? And finally, how do I use my technology investments, including the network, to drive future change? And what we see here specifically is around areas like the future of work. How do I invest and how do I architect a network in which a significant percentage of my workforce will most likely be working from home, in which the workforce will most likely become much more global and distributed than it is today? So to us, digital transformation has been ongoing for the last 5+ years. We see COVID-19 providing a major impetus to the overall digital transformation initiative. And we see organizations understanding that they can use investments in networking to help survive the impact of COVID-19. As you know, all across the globe, organizations are struggling with economic slowdown. There's talk of recession, but companies are also looking at how to return to growth and how to adapt to this new normal. And to us, the digital native network can play a key role in that. Whether it's through cloud connectivity, whether it's through hybrid access, traffic splicing, increased performance, etc. You'll see a huge number of use cases spread across the diagram as organizations start to make sure that their investments become much more targeted and that they use technology to become a company of the future. And then if we look at network investments specifically, we asked organizations the following question. Thinking of your network infrastructure, in which of the areas will you make significant investments over the next 2 years? And companies had the opportunity to choose between a couple of options, as you can see. No priority area, 5% only. So most organizations knew exactly where they wanted to invest in the network. We saw that the campus and the branch wired network received 41% of the votes. Data center network, 48%. And 57% of companies said that campus and branch would be their main priority. So obviously, organizations could opt for more than one choice, hence the percentages being not adding up to 100%. But clearly, campus and branch wireless networks came out as the #1 investment area. And we believe that when we run this survey again in 2021, that this will actually be much higher, most likely at the cost of the campus wired network, as we see distribution across the organization, as well as different hybrid access modes. This has an impact on the overall market across the Middle East and Africa as well. So if we look at the global wireless LAN market, that it's obviously a massive market. It's worth about $8.2 billion across the enterprise wireless LAN market. Looking at Europe, the Middle East, and Africa, we expect that market to be worth around $2.7 billion by 2024. And within the region itself, as you can see on the chart, it'll be a 500 million market by 2024. Obviously, in 2020, we do see a little bit of a dip in terms of investment, but again, the strength of the Middle East comes out in the fact that it's one of the few regions where we don't see the market declining below zero. We still see significant growth compared to the rest of the world, as well as the rest of the Middle East. The rest of Europe, the Middle East, and Africa. So significant opportunity in this market, even and despite the impact of COVID-19. And clearly it's a market where we see a lot of activity. Some of the the peers and competitors of Huawei, for example, in terms of mergers and acquisitions, to enable them to bulk up to compete. Juniper acquiring Mist, VMware acquiring Avi, Extreme acquiring Aerohive. So it is a market, and the overall networking market is an area that is extremely dynamic and will continue to be so for the next 5+ years. And the key driver of this market will be the transition to Wi-Fi 6. As you know, it was ratified at the end of 2019, and it's the latest iteration of the Wi-Fi standard. And we believe that within the next 4 years, it will actually become the de facto standard in the industry. A key part of wireless, of the overall wireless LAN market, is obviously the importance of management, and as we said earlier, the ability to centrally manage wide Wi-Fi implementations. Today, we see around 25% of implementations being cloud managed. We see this growing to 40% by 2022. Sometimes people ask us about the role of Wi-Fi 6 versus that of 5G. Obviously, both technologies receiving a lot of interest in the media. To us, we see them very much as complementary. They do have different use cases, and we do not see a significant amount of competition between Wi-Fi 6 and 5G. But what we do see is a significant amount of education required in the industry, and especially around the business cases and the business advantages that more intelligent networks deliver. Think of increased manageability, increased security, but also very specific use cases around areas like the Internet of Things. And the fact that you're on this call today is testimony of how organizations like Huawei and 4Sight are providing that education in the industry. Then to wrap up, for us, it's a case of balancing your network requirements versus budget. Budget is always constrained, so organizations need to look very closely at how they prioritize network investments, and especially the role of Wi-Fi 6 within that. We think a good place to start is to change the conversation away from plain connectivity to how investments can enable business applications and business outcomes. It means that there should be a clear business case for the transformation of wireless LAN, not just building out the wireless LAN, but for transforming wireless LAN using Wi-Fi 6. Playing into that are key trends that Subra also mentioned: network virtualization, cloud connectivity, hybrid networking. But ultimately, the wireless network should be positioned as a key part of a holistic network and of a holistic network management and network security strategy. It means that most organizations will most likely require a service integrator, an external party that can help the own internal IT team to pull together multiple cloud solutions, multiple network solutions against a budget, and also ensure a smooth migration path to this digital transformation network. And then in summary, we think a couple of key questions to ask your vendor and your partner. First one is, describe your portfolio. Just how wide is it? What do you have in terms of the wireless network as well as the wired network? What do you have in terms of the partner ecosystem? Is it just a single vendor? Are there multiple vendors? And how many other partners are in that ecosystem? A clear point is, how do I move from my situation today to the future state? In other words, looking very closely at the deployment model as well as migration. What are the financial implications? Can you help me with my sourcing strategy, OPEX versus CAPEX, financing needs, etc., etc. And finally, what's your track record, not only in terms of technology, but also in a very specific region or country? So to us, these are the key questions to ask whenever you look at a new partner for the wireless network, the wired network, as well as for systems integrator needs. So with that, thank you very much, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of the event.
Chris, thanks very much. Great job. Can you hear me, Chris? Yeah?
Yes.
Chris, great job, great presentation. Very similar to Saurabh in terms of you covered a lot of topics and was very engaging and informative. And what I found interesting, sort of jumped off at me, you talked about COVID-19 sort of, serving as a catalyst for change. And we've seen that here in the Middle East in terms of such a huge acceleration of digital transformation here. But you touched upon the defining characteristics of a digital native network, and you talked about security is at the core of that. And that's really important. You touched on the other aspects like flexibility, scalability, manageability. But are organizations guilty of ignoring security in a way to try and fast track the digital native network? Or, what's your perspective on that?
It's a great question. I don't think organizations are trying to fast track security, because they understand that in the new digital centric world, if you don't have digital security, you have nothing, number one. And number two, it's also a world in which you can lose your credibility within seconds. If there's a major breach at a bank, etc., people know that that could lead to a loss of millions or even billions of dollars within a couple of hours, as people move their money away from that financial institution. And the same applies to government organizations, etc. People, people like you and I, are willing to engage in electronic government, but we do demand that government and local institutions pay very close attention to security. So I think both in terms of the public institutions, the retail environments, financial, everyone understands the importance of excellent grade security.
Yeah. That's brilliant, Chris. And just obviously, you sort of touched on Wi-Fi 6 a lot and some of your forecast. And one of the ones I found interesting as well was just you feel the need that there's more education required in terms of Wi-Fi 6. Is that in relation to sort of tangible use cases, or can you just maybe elaborate a little bit more in terms of what you mean when you say you feel that more education is needed on it?
Yeah, it's a great question. Yes, I think as with any new technology step forward, we have basic things like the increase in speed that Wi-Fi 6 will bring. And, to be honest, there's not a lot of education required around that. Even things like splicing, etc., multi-user, multi-input, multi-output, a lot of those things are fairly well known to people versed in technology. I think where it becomes more interesting is around use cases, because certainly with Wi-Fi 6, there are just so many more things you can do with that technology. Think of things like Internet of Things. To me, that's the best example of digital transformation, as everything becomes connected to the network and everything becomes part of this digital world. Obviously, with COVID-19 and looking towards the future, towards a COVID-free world, things like stadiums, mass transit, anything with a lot of people involved will be an excellent use case for Wi-Fi 6. But that obviously depends on the post-COVID situation, and certainly also in the new workplace of the future. So education required, and probably more education required than we've seen with earlier Wi-Fi standard evolution.
Yeah, that's brilliant, Chris. Great answer. And I think it was interesting as well how you touched on the 5G and Wi-Fi being complementary as opposed to being in competition. But look, we'll leave it there, Chris. Fantastic presentation. It was a great coup for us to get somebody so senior from IDC on this morning. So thanks for your time. And it was a great presentation. So thanks a million, Chris. We'll now hand over to, we're going to get a demo here now, the world's fastest Wi-Fi 6 real-world performance testing demo. That's going to be conducted by Ruo Lei, Solutions Manager at Enterprise Business Group at Huawei, and his colleague, who we've already heard from earlier today, Saurabh Jain, is also going to be joining him. So without further ado, I'll pass you over to those two guys now for the demo.
So today we have created two scenarios for you to explain. The comparison between the Wi-Fi 6 and Wi-Fi 5 technology, the old technology which was released in 2011. We will demonstrate you a very quick setup which me and my colleague Han has created for you. So I'll explain you the setup first of all, and then we will take you to the lab where Han is sitting right now, where we will be demonstrating you the live showcase of the demonstration. So essentially, it is going to be a step one where we will be showing the performance between the access point and access point, because today we don't have a user terminal who can fully leverage the capacity of Wi-Fi the throughput. Okay. The second testing what we are going to do is basically connecting the user terminal, which is Wi-Fi 6 ready, to show you that what is the throughput we are getting out of the user terminal as well. So this is the scenario what we have created in the lab infrastructure. As you can see, the top one, which is highlighted now, it covers the connectivity between two Wi-Fi 5 access points. And in case the way we are going to demonstrate is that we are going to pump the data of what you see on the PC2. We are going to pump this data through the multi-gig switches. It is going to flow to the access point, Wi-Fi access point, getting connected over the RF. And finally, on the other side, there is another multi-G switch which is connected. And to read the readings, there is the PC which is going to decrypt the data. So this is a testing which we will demonstrate you from a Wi-Fi 5 point of view. These are the screenshots what we have taken where we are pumping the data from one side and we are capturing the data on the other side. So there is a client and server arrangement what we have done. On the Wi-Fi 6, there is a similar infrastructure of the traffic as well as the multi-G switches. The only change which has happened is the Wi-Fi 6 access point. So again, the same flow will happen where we will be pumping this data from the server, and then it is going to follow the same flow from a Wi-Fi 6 radio point of view, reaching out, and then accordingly it will be decrypted again. So again, these are the traffic snapshots, what we have captured on a real time, and the same will be demonstrated to you. So this is a comparison which will give you the idea that how the performance is really changing when we are changing the technology from a Wi-Fi 5 to Wi-Fi 6. The second testing what we are going to do today, it is going to be around the user terminal device. Now in this case, what we have done is we have used one Wi-Fi 6 terminal, which is going to get connected to the Wi-Fi 6 device, as you can see here. And then again, the same infrastructure of a multi-G switches connected to the PC server, where you will showcase the readings of this throughput. Again, the snapshots we have captured in terms of a throughput testing. So let's move on to the lab setup, which my colleague Han has created. So over to you, Han.
Okay. Can I share? Let me share my screen first. Okay. Hello everyone. Today I will give you the show for this test. As my colleague Saurabh said, this is the receiver set 100, and this will be used for receiving the traffic from the sending set. And let's start with the Wi-Fi 5 test case, okay? And first of all, let's check the script. This test will be tested with the approve, and this is script for the receiver set. As you can see, there are about 10 scripts, 10 process. Let's check the sending set. Also start with the Wi-Fi 5. We can check the script first. This is sender set. As you can see, we send 10 process, and one will be 1 gigabytes per second in order to make sure that the traffic is full loaded, okay? And we will start with the listener receiver set and check, let them to receive the traffic first. I'll double click it, and right now they're receiving the traffic. In order to show the performance, I will use this one. As you can see, this is the task manager, and we have tracked the net the throughput for this net adapter, okay? And right now we're listening, and we can go to the sending side and start sending the traffic. As you can see, the traffic is sending right now, and we go back to our receiver set and check. Here is the 1.2 gigabytes, and right now the Wi-Fi 5 is sending the traffic, and the maximum speed for Wi-Fi 5 is 1.2 gigabytes and this is the maximum speed for Wi-Fi 5. Okay, let's close it and start with the Wi-Fi 6 and make a comparison and see how good our Wi-Fi 6 is. Okay, right now I have already closed the Wi-Fi 5 and start with the Wi-Fi 6. And here is the Wi-Fi 6, this one, and it's similar as the Wi-Fi 5. We can check with script first. It's also 10 precise, and we can start listening the traffic and move our text manager here in order to check the performance. Okay, right now we are listening to the Wi-Fi 6 traffic and go back to the sender. And as you can see, we are going to send the traffic from this side, and it's also the similar. We send the 10 process, which each of this one is 1 gigabyte. So we send the 10 gigabytes to make sure it's full loaded. Okay, and I will send it here. Right now, as you can see, the traffic is sending from the sender side. Okay, and let's go back to the receiver side. And here it is, this adapter. Right now, this adapter is used for Wi-Fi 6. And as you can see, the speed is 3.5 and 3.3. About that, this is almost three times larger than the Wi-Fi 5. So this is the speed for the Wi-Fi 6. And this are the comparison between the Wi-Fi 6 and the Wi-Fi 5. Let me close this session first.
So by the time we move to the second testing with the user terminal, there is very important message which I want to give you all. So the devices from a Wi-Fi 6 point of view, we have different devices on a radio throughput. Starting from 2x2 MIMO, it goes up to 16x16 MIMO. The demonstration what you have seen today is for the 8x8 MIMO today. Now, with respect to the customer requirement and a density which is expected, we can actually decide which equipment to use, which Wi-Fi 6 device has to be used. So this is just for a sample. The throughput of the air interface goes up to 10 Gbps, depending on the device type. Now we will shift towards the user terminal testing, where we have used one of the device which is Wi-Fi 6 ready, which means the user terminal is supporting 802.11ax standard. And generally, when we see in the industry, you will find user terminal supporting a 1x1 kind of radio infrastructure to connect over a Wi-Fi 6. So the throughputs are going to be in the tune of 1 Gbps. Over to you, Han.
Okay. And the next one, we will test for the single terminal. And this is the script that we are going to use. And this is the receiver side, the same receiver side. Let's check the script first. As you can see, there are 4 processes for the receiver side. And I will start the listener and waiting for the traffic. And after that, I will go to this one. This is 150. And this is the sender side. I just check whether it's get connected or not. It has already connected. And we will check this script. Let me go up to that. For this one, we also send full traffics from this sender side. As you can see, we got 1 gigabytes for each one. Because the maximum is just 3 gigabytes, so we think the 4 gigabytes is good enough for this test case. Okay, and I will send from this set. And let's go back to the receiver side and check. Right now, as you can see, we have already receiving some traffic from the sending side. Okay, for the single terminal. And then let's check the speed for this one. As you can see, the speed is about 1.9 gigabytes for the receiver side. So this is a single terminal for Wi-Fi 6. And this is a test case for this one. Saurabh, this is a test case for the single user, Wi-Fi 6.
Yeah, thank you so much, Han, for setting up this lab for us for this event. And we actually, just to summarize what we have done today, one is that we have shared you the comparison between the Wi-Fi 5 and Wi-Fi 6 throughput. using the same infrastructure, which means we are using the same multi-G switches connecting to the access point, and we are running the same script in terms of pumping up the traffic. On the other side, we have also demonstrated you the throughput using the terminal device, because now in 2020, all the new devices use a terminal which are coming, they support the Wi-Fi 6 infrastructure. So these are the two test cases which we have demonstrated to you. Thank you so much, Han. Thanks for demonstrating this.
Hi guys.
Back to you. Yeah, back to you, Mark. Yeah.
That was brilliant. Thanks a million. Just stay on there, Saurabh, as well, and Han, you can decide which one of you want to take these questions. We've got a couple of questions from the attendees, so obviously they were very impressed with the test demo, and they've got some questions asked. So the first question from Mohammed is, can I deploy Wi-Fi 6 on my existing network setup, or do I need to change my back-end network infrastructure as well? So which one of you guys want to take that?
I'll take this question, Mark. So certainly there are devices which are 2x2. You can still connect to the existing infrastructure, because the existing infrastructure is the access switches where we connect on a 1G. However, to best leverage the advantage of Wi-Fi 6 product line, what we strongly recommend as Huawei, that you should revamp your existing infrastructure from a 1G access switch to the multi-G access switches. The time you do the upgrade from a 1G to multi-G, you will be in a best position to take the advantage of Wi-Fi 6 devices. Because Wi-Fi 6 devices have the interfaces which is uplink of 2.5 gig, 5 gig, as well as 10 gig. So to really have a non-blocking throughput, what we advise is to really upgrade your access infrastructure to have the best benefit of Wi-Fi 6 throughput.
That's great, Saurabh. Thanks for that. We've got another question, but hopefully you've addressed Mohammed's question there. So again, thanks for that. So Rizwan has asked, are Wi-Fi 6 and Huawei 11AX devices compatible with IPv6?
Yeah. So what happens, any standard in Wi-Fi 6 or Wi-Fi today, they are always backward compatible. So whether we talk about the 802.11n, AC, B, or AX standard, they all are backward compatible. So Wi-Fi 6 is backward compatible to Wi-Fi 5, Wi-Fi 5 is backward compatible to 4, and then accordingly their equivalent technical jargons. So they're absolutely backward compatible. There is no issue. We can straight away go for a latest Wi-Fi 6 deployment.
That's brilliant, Saurabh. Thanks a million for that, and thanks a million, Han, as well for the test. The test demo, I think, was brilliant. So thanks very much. Hold on, I think we've got another question. So I'm just going to see now. So this is from Nasir, and it says, how far in the sea, how many kilometers will Wi-Fi 6 can work? I'm not 100% sure of that.
So in case of a commercial Wi-Fi deployment, when it comes to the coverage, it is generally a 500 meter the coverage which is possible, because it is not only the dependency on the Wi-Fi 6X of the terminal device, right? Because there is a receive and trans which has to happen. When it comes to the backhauling using the Wi-Fi 6 devices, where we can use the external antenna, directional antenna, it can go to a couple of kilometers. In fact, the solutions which are available today in a unlicensed band, which is 5 gig, they can go up to 4 kilometer, which is an unlicensed frequency, belongs to the Wi-Fi. And the throughput goes up to 800 Mbps for a distance of around 3 to 4 kilometer. And there we have a point-to-point and a point-to-multipoint solutions. So that's the the answer from a user as well as from a backhauling point of view.
Brilliant, Saurabh, and we've got a couple more questions coming in. They're flying in, so this is great. This is from Mohammed. What is the maximum speed we can achieve while connecting radio to radio with Wi-Fi 6?
So Wi-Fi 6 to Wi-Fi 6, the maximum throughput, as I have mentioned, The current demonstration was around 8x8 MIMO. On 16x16 MIMO, the device, the flagship product of 8700 series, we can actually go up to 10 Gbps on a radio throughput. So just to summarize this understanding, as I said, we have 2x2 MIMO to 16x16 MIMO, suiting to different deployment conditions. And depending on the RF planning and depending on the throughput which is required per user, plus the concurrency, we can actually decide which access point we need to use to suit the deployment condition. Yeah.
Brilliant. That's great. And there's another question here from Manish. And feel free, Han, if you want to take it, or Saurabh, whatever you guys can decide between yourself. Does Wi-Fi 6 complement 5G fission? So that's from Manish.
I mean, this is something which Chris has already given the understanding. When we talk about the 5G infrastructure from the telco, and when we talk about the Wi-Fi 6, they actually complement each other. Because when we are in the campus, essentially you don't find that signal strength. So in the indoor environment, Wi-Fi 6 complements what 5G do in the outdoor environment. So they complement each other and they coexist.
Brilliant. And then there's a final question, I think, here from Aisha, and it says, is it compatible an Active Directory LTAP environment? Is the Wi-Fi 6 compatible an Active Directory LTAP environment?
Yeah, it is absolutely compatible. So from a user authentication point of view, the platform, what I was explaining, the iMaster NCE, can integrate with the third-party ecosystems. It could be the authentication system or a AAA, or it could be LDAP, or it could be Active Directory. So depending on the customer environment requirement, we can actually integrate these different product line to our ecosystem, and it will be a seamless. In fact, what we have done in advance is in our interoperability lab, we have done a pre-testing for the different OEM NAC solutions authentication system, including the AD directory as well. So there is no effort when it comes to such kind of hybrid deployment. There is no effort required to the customer or to the partner. It is all pre-integrated from Huawei.
That's all pre-integrated, so no need for the customer. That's great. There's another question. Sorry, I'm grilling you here. But this is from Rizwan, and it says, at what max frequency can Huawei Wi-Fi 6 devices run on? At what max frequency can Huawei Wi-Fi 6 devices run on?
So so there are two answers to it. One answer is that as far as the Wi-Fi is concerned, we are talking in any Wi-Fi 6 standard, whether it is a Wi-Fi 6, Wi-Fi 5, 4, the Wi-Fi frequency is always 2.4 and 5 gig. And that's an unlicensed band on which we can connect. So it is up to us whether we have a choice, and if the device allows us, we can connect on a 2.4 as well as on a 5 gig. So that's the one answer. The second answer is the frequency when we talk about 2.4 or a 5 gig, it is actually divided in multiple segments. And that's the reason we said that, it can connect on a 20 gig, 40 gig, 80 gig, 120. So likewise, it can connect on and there are multiple channels to it. So there is a complete technology framework which OFDMA supports in terms of really dissecting the frequency band of 2.4 and 5 gig for a multiple concurrent and a spatial stream.
That's great. That's brilliant. Look, I think you've addressed all the questions there that were asked, and thanks a million for that. So great answers. Thanks again to Han for doing the test as well. It was an excellent and very informative test demo. So I'll thank you both now. I think that's all the questions now that have been shared. So thanks a million for that, and I'm going to hand you back over now to Anil Misri. He's the sales manager at 4Sight. He's going to now do the giveaway. So 3 of our attendees are going to now win 3 Huawei G2 watches. So I think Anil has the names of the winners. So I'll hand you over to Anil. Take it from there, Anil. Cheers.
Thank you, Mark. Thanks a lot. First of all, I would like to thank all the participants who have been with us all through the last couple of hours and who have been patiently listening to the information, the informative thing that has been passed on by our presenters. Mark, it was a privilege to be a part of this webinar. So I have been given this responsibility of naming the 3 winners who have been chosen by a randomizer, which has been run by our the partners who are organizing this webinar. So the first winner is Mr. Anup Kumar from Lulu. The second winner would be Mr. Ihab Al Sheikh from Dubai Municipality. And the third winner would be Mr. Vijay Sanku from Gulf News. I thank all the participants who are here, and I thank the winners in totality. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Anil. Thank you very much, Anil, for that. I've already got a Huawei watch, so if anyone hasn't seen them, that's what
you are not a part of this, Mark.
No, I had to pay for this, so that's very lucky, the attendees that have won the G2 watches. That's brilliant. So thanks for that, Anil. Look, guys, that's it. That's us now at the end of this presentation, this virtual webinar. It's been a fantastic event. I just want to thank everyone for participating, all our attendees. Some great questions were asked. I think there was a lot of interactivity, a lot of engagement. So on behalf of me as the moderator of this session and on behalf of CPI Media Group, I just want to thank everybody for participating. I want to thank all the speakers. I want to thank Chris. I want to thank Saurabh. I want to thank Han, Diaa, Anil, and Tajinder from 4Sight as well. Everyone that participated that made this webinar such a success this morning. I think it was really fantastic. So that's enough for me. I know everybody else. I don't know if Diaa wants to come back in and thank, or we can just end it there. But from me, I know you've heard enough from me. So just as I said, thanks a million for joining. It's been a fantastic session, and that's it. Cheers. I'll hand you over if Diaa or Saurabh want to say anything. I'll give you the floor.
Thank you, everybody, for attending with us. Special thanks to Mark and Chris for hosting this event and being part of this event. And looking forward to meeting you in other events that we are scheduling forward under the Technology Club umbrella, where we will be presenting more and more technologies moving forward. Thank you very much, everybody.